To understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to do something first. You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
What do you desire that you can't have?
Now you should at least give a brother a moment to say something heroically clever.
You're the boy from the circus.
So I have this thing with rolls.
There's about a dozen ways that I could stop you right now. But I don't think I have to.
The staff chose me, and I choose you.
I started up a security firm.
Finally, a superhero team I can actually get behind.
In the future, my friends may not be heroes, but if we succeed, they will be remembered as legends.
Welcome to the DC TV report for the week ending Saturday, July 4th, 2020. I'm Little Eddie O'Hare, aspiring professional fanboy.
And I'm Sarah Netzley, academic by day, writer by night.
We're here to bring you recaps, news, and commentary for all live-action television shows based on DC Comics.
And we have 2 new episodes this week.
Yay!
Yay! 2 good episodes! Yay!
Yeah. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Happy Independence Day.
Happy
even though
4th.
Yeah, even though everyone's going to be getting this on the 5th, but that's okay.
You can pretend. It's like time travel.
That's fine. So yeah. We got two amazing episodes to talk about. And it's July 4th on the pandemic, so hope everyone's staying safe. Sarah, any big plans? You cooking up some burgers?
We are socially distancing at my mom's with just me, Jason, my folks. So it's going to be quiet. And then most of the fireworks in the area have been canceled for safety and budget reasons. But if last night is any indication, the backyard shows are going to be lit. And I can see those from my backyard. So I look forward to Jank possibly setting like neighborhoods on fire. Fireworks shows this year is what's on my agenda. So, pray for Peoria, everybody. Pray for rain, because it's a lot of unlicensed, inexperienced. It's the 4th. We're going to, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. How about you?
Yeah. I always look forward to that one story of a guy who took off his own finger. Maybe I guess that means this year there will be 2. It was really sad a couple of years ago where the one guy was like the best linebacker on the New York Giants. But no, yeah, we're
against his insurance policies.
Oh yes. He paid dearly for it.
Sure.
Yeah. Jason Pierre-Paul. Still plays in the league with 7 fingers. But
that's quite a loss of fingers.
Yeah. Or maybe it's 8. I think it might be 8. But yeah.
Whatever. It's more. It's too few fingers for a person. Sorry, guy.
I'm sure. We'll get stuff from somebody. Dan. Deke273 lives in Jersey. I'm sure. Although now that I said, oh, he must be a Giants fan, I'm sure he'll tell me he's an Eagles fan. And will get very upset with me, but that's okay.
Oh, I hear Eagles fans are great.
So yeah. We have some DC TV to talk about. I'd like to thank all of our listeners, everyone, for checking us out. If you haven't yet, please rate and review us on your podcast app of choice. That helps people find us. And if you want to be really helpful, we are part of Wicked Theory Studios, which has a Patreon, patreon.com/Wicked Theory. And for as little as $1 a month, you could just help us with our overhead. And there's a bonus podcast there called Ed Bonds with Bill, where Bill Sweeney and I review all James Bond movies. And Sarah, most recently, we watched a TV special from 1954 featuring Barry Nelson.
Sounds special and exciting. Yes. How was it?
Oh, it was something. Fun artifact to see Barry Nelson play an American Jimmy Bond. Um, from Climax. So get to see Casino Royale. Yeah. Interesting, rare television artifact to discuss. Yeah, and Bill and I had fun with it. We're into the
Wait.
unofficial.
Did you have equal amounts of fun, you and Bill?
Oh, sure, we must have. Yeah. Yeah. I will say of the unofficial James Bond movies, it's not the one that I'm worried about. So, I'm sure we'll get to that soon. So yeah. What's been going on with you, Sarah? Any fun stuff to report? Anything you've been binging you want to share with us?
Oh my god, my silence should tell you what my life is right now. I'm kind of working on a manuscript that is due in 3 weeks to my editor, so that's what I'm doing. I'm writing. I'm not watching much. I'm just forcing myself to word counts. Words are what matter. So I'm not much fun these days. I will admit I've been spacing my workout with episodes of Sweet Magnolia on Netflix, which is not good, but I'm still watching it. So I'm a garbage person. I have nothing interesting going on. I'm so
Well,
sorry.
yeah, no, but you're writing a manuscript and good for you.
Yeah,
that's
thanks.
that's a worthy trade-off.
Yes, working on the book. It's coming along.
Yeah. I just finished binging Billions.
Do
Yeah,
you recommend?
and yeah, yeah. I do. Paul Giamatti's great in that show. Um, yeah. And for listeners, I was a bit of drama and set last night. So I'm trying to decide which show to binge next. And I had some people in my life pulling me in different directions, and Sarah had a big part in settling what I should watch next. Um,
Sometimes when Ed calls, it's to talk about DC TV. Sometimes when Ed calls, it's to talk about I don't even know what. That's what's fun when I see his name on my caller ID, and I'm like, all right, this is gonna be good, whatever it is. And I'm sorry that I did not have the wisdom of Solomon to just come in and tell you straight up what to do. He was choosing between two really good shows, but kind of different shows, and I don't know. I feel like my advice stands, but you wanna tell the people?
oh yeah.
You were
So it was
deciding between?
yes, it was between Community and The Good Place. My sister Irene really wanted me to watch The Good Place, and Bill Sweeney has been hounding me to start Community. And I asked Sarah to break the tie, and she was not helpful at all.
That's not fair. I told you The Good Place is the better show. It's the better piece of art, and it's a little more profound. But I thought Community might resonate more with you because of the
Ah,
film genre takeoffs and kind of the misanthropic humor. They're both very good. It's very hard to say, and I think you should watch both. You're right. I was no help at all. I'm sorry. I'll
yes, and then this had to go into a text convo, and Bill did the smart thing and stood back completely as you and Irene just basically decided for me that I was going to watch Community first and take Good Place as a chaser. Um,
Yeah, we decided this, and we had a side conversation via text, just the two of us, right, about this.
oh, really?
Oh yes, yeah. No, Irene and I got it. We handled you. It's fine.
yes, and somehow Bill walked off with the victory. I don't know how that happened, but
He also recommended My Mother the Car. Let's not forget that. So
well, he thought that was going to be the show that you suggested, which I don't believe for a second. I was actually worried that like my main fear was that Bill would say Community, Irene was saying Good Place, and then I'd call you up and you'd be like, no, it has to be Parks and Rec. Like that was what I was afraid of.
I mean, obviously you need to watch Parks and Rec. Just get through season 1 to get to season 2. Obviously, but you didn't need that in your life right now.
Yeah,
The other
I
two
mean,
choices were good.
all right.
So
So
let us know. Do you think Ed would enjoy The Good Place or Community more? Tweet at him, badger him, make other suggestions to make his life harder. I'm into this.
oh man, life has felt so free since I took Twitter off my phone.
What is that like?
Yeah. But yeah, I do still check. So and one of these days, these days, I'll jump into that fray. Maybe when people are less angry. Um, yeah. Speaking of less angry, let's talk about some of these fun TV shows. Sarah, you ready to dive into the episodes?
Absolutely.
All right. First up is Stargirl, season 1, episode 7, Shiv, part 1. Pat tried to start training the new JSA, but Courtney was having trouble with the concept of teamwork. Both Mike and Barbara were feeling weird about how close Pat and Courtney had become recently. Cindy Berman was over Henry Jr. and demanded her dad, the Dragon King, get her a seat at the ISA's table. Last minute reveal, Pat found Courtney unconscious in the gym, and janitor Justin, who had just used his sword to rescue Court from Cindy, recognized Pat as Stripesy.
This episode totally worked for me. Every part of it was great. What did you think?
We got the Shining Knight? We're gonna get the Shining Knight?
Explain the janitor. Let me, okay, real fast. Let me tell you about Milady culture. Milady culture is bad. It is neckbeards and fedoras and milady and tipping the hat, and most women instinctively shy away from you if you milady them. It's not good. So when the janitor did that, I was horrified. But as Jason, who was watching along with me, pointed out, it could be that he's a creepy neckbeard incel, or it could be that he's some sort of knight, gallant, you might say. And I was just like, nah, he's creepy. No, it turns out, what is he? He's got Ed. Who is this person? What's happening?
He is a real comic book character from the early 1940s, named the Shining Knight, and the concept is that he is an Arthurian knight, granted superhuman powers and armor by Merlin himself, who was thrust forward into the 20th century. So
it makes me sad that milady culture has taken that away from the Arthurian vibe. But it also makes me sad that he's dealing with terrible children in high school.
Yeah.
I wish he'd landed in a better gig when he landed
Yeah.
in this century.
Yeah. And he was a character who served alongside the Star-Spangled Kid and Stripesy when all of them were members of a superhero team called the Seven Soldiers of Victory. So yeah, and I'm currently reading his adventures as part of the All-Star Squadron, which is a comic book from the early 1980s by Roy Thomas. So one of the more obscure DC characters, and also the idea that they would take him and put him into a live action TV show seems so far-fetched. And so far we haven't seen much of him. I buy it.
Well, he definitely surprised me when he popped up. I mean, and it's also interesting that Courtney, I feel like most of her fights end with somebody else bailing her out, which I think is kind of cool because again, teenagers, these are teenagers who I worry about them risking themselves a lot. So I like that it shows that she is not, she's not going to be able to do this on her own yet. She still has some growing to do. So that was a surprise when he
Yeah.
swooped in like that.
Yeah, and what's funny is I was joking with our executive producer Bill Sweeney like last week, like because I think there's an episode title coming up called The Shining Knight. Like they're gonna bring that guy in here, and then he shows up in this episode. It's just wow, okay, all right. He's the weird janitor at the school, and I wonder like how did he get amnesia? Like what's going on there? And yeah, cool way to go with that story. And yeah, and I love the way this series is building, and we're getting like there's solid character development in every episode of this show so far, and we've gotten a new piece of the puzzle and a new element, a variable to be thrown in here. And this week, I mean, the Shining Knight is great, but the real thing that is finding out Cindy Berman is the Dragon King's daughter, and seeing her transform into Shiv.
Yeah, so I both know more about Cindy and I still know nothing about Cindy. She remains a mystery to me, and yet that was interesting. I was not expecting that. I knew that there was some kind of arch nemesis. I mean, it kind of makes sense that they would do a teenage villain, so that way you can fight a little more on even ground. Stargirl and her allies, and taking on somebody their own age. So that was cool. I like that a lot. I thought Courtney asking Cindy to be partners in chemistry is the nicest thing I've seen anybody do on TV, maybe ever. That like, I hate this girl, I hate her, but she is alone, and I'm gonna be nice. That said so much about Courtney. That was great. And then they, Cindy's smart. They work together. It was great. And then bam, super villain. Cindy.
Yeah.
We were rooting for you. We were rooting for you to come around.
Yeah. How do you like that? Yeah. But still, I really enjoyed this episode. And yeah, and what's weird is like she is so angry in this show. And yet somehow like I went to high school with girls like that who were that angry at the world and decided to take it out on all of the people trying to be their friends. Yeah, it's sad that I feel like, oh no, these people like this do exist in the world. Aside from the whole, your dad is a supervillain who has robot servants in the basement. And a monster locked up down there too.
Honestly. Yeah. Yeah, that was wild.
Mm-hmm.
I love the slow motion hero walk down the hallway. I love that those misfits have all found friends together. That was wonderful. Cindy busting through. I didn't realize how symbolic that would be at the beginning of the episode, but all really good stuff.
Yeah, what was that song that they were marching to? I feel like that's it.
I didn't jot it down. I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Let's assume for the sake of Tanya that it was Prince, and just mention again that Prince is a fabulous, talented genius. I feel
like it was a hip hop song, but that's okay. But yeah.
I was enjoying the slow motion stride and the smiles as they all joined each other. So that's kind of what I was in it for.
Yeah.
I did also, like she's the meanest girl I've ever met, and somebody just casually says, well, her mom died. Well, you think that might be kind of important? You think?
Yeah, and and Courtney also learning that she's not a team player,
No, she's not. Oh, course.
Yeah, I mean, she's gymnast, which is she's a gymnast, which is an individual sport. So yeah, maybe this is gonna take some adjusting. I thought it was really funny how fast Pat was able to turn all of her friends against her in that training session.
That actually probably would be effective in keeping them from going out and fighting crime. You sow dissension among the ranks. Everybody's like, "Nah, I'm not doing this anymore." I wish I could think that Pat was an evil genius like that. He's not. He's just Pat.
Yeah.
Oh no, that didn't go right. I thought it would. That's Pat.
Yeah. Also, if you had Beth's Dr. Midnight goggles, would you be using them for karaoke in the bathroom?
100%. Yes, 100% I would. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, it's fun and all, but like, she really needs to put those things away. Like, like
her parents must be so worried about their weird ass daughter. Oh my god.
I mean, the whole showing up to your mom's workplace late at night to bring her dinner it's just too much, and they're relying on her too much. But still, let's talk about so let's talk about Mike. I feel like Mike had a really good episode. Like,
I am glad he expressed some frustration. I am glad. That is normal, and I'm glad he said it. I'm also glad he had all those snacks at the football game. Team Mike.
Yeah, and I think it's weird. They're still taking the time to make this kind of like a family dramedy. But Mike is such a cool character that's completely removed from all of the superhero stuff in the show. And it was cool to see him flex and be protective of his dad and their relationship.
Yeah.
And yeah. I'm interested to see where they go with that character. Also, we've at Deke273 sent us some fun tweets. He wants to know what the classic car rental insurance budget is on Stargirl.
It's got to be out of control.
Yeah. He says it has to be astronomical. Also, he has a theory that he thinks Mike is going to be the one to find Johnny Thunder's pen. Which I think would be interesting. Although he has mentioned he has a friend named Jakeem. I actually think it would be kind of funnier if Mike's friend gets Johnny Thunder, and Mike ends up being the only kid in the show without superpowers. I don't know why. I know that's cruel,
no.
but
No. That is a tried and true tradition in teenage shows like this. I actually have a Buffy joke I'm going to make in a little bit here, but you have the Xander of the group who doesn't have any powers. You have Teen Wolf. You have the Styles of the group who's the one who doesn't have any powers. And a lot of times those people become sort of the heart of the show because they're the human to all the madness around them. So I think the non-powered beating heart of the show, that was, I want to stipulate, not super Xander and Buffy, but you get the Styles that is the great example of that. So no, I think that would be really, really interesting. I would really like to see it go in that direction. I think that could be great to bring in somebody like that who's just like, is this what? Okay, well, I'll just be here with bandages and popcorn when you need to chill, and it's good. Go save the world. I'll be here.
Hey, as long as he gets his paper.
Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, as long as he gets his paper route done every morning, that's what matters.
That's right. He's got responsibilities. Can I just say, nobody likes a trainer who stands behind you in line at the concession stand critiquing your order. Nobody likes that.
No. I love how Crusher Croft is a supervillain, and
he
what
also
makes him a
dresses
monster.
up and fights people.
Yes. But that's what makes him a monster. Is pointing out people's poor eating habits. Also, at Bauer Fett tweeted out, we need a Stripes meets Bumblebee movie. I would be up for that. Bumblebee Bumblebee was the one Transformers movie where I could actually, tell who was who.
I was gonna say I will allow that if it's the most recent Bumblebee filmmakers, but not if it's Michael Bay Bumblebee. No.
Yeah. Agreed. Uh, all right. So some cool moves, and this is the first of a two-parter.
Yeah.
And Courtney learns a hard lesson in this episode. She is like really, she's unconscious. Pat has to pick her up and carry her out of that school, out of that
That's not good.
out of that gym. Yeah.
I do want to talk about that fight, though. A couple of things. Number one, more property damage on the school grounds, so great. Number two, I loved the camera circling those two as they fought on the really actually pretty cool homecoming dance set.
Oh yeah.
That was fun. But I love the way the camera circled them as they did battle there. I thought that was great. That was a lot of fun. And for me, no moment in this show so far has better exemplified the Stargirl aesthetic than when Courtney attacks Cindy and burns her face with the staff. She immediately is like, "Oh no," because she didn't mean to hurt her. But then when she heals, Courtney says, "Oh no," because she knows she's in trouble. But I love that. I don't want to hurt you, but oh god, I don't want you to hurt me. Like that was such a great. It was fun. It just with two repeated words, just the whole show right there for me. Anyway, that really summed that up, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, I thought I thought that fight scene was fantastic. I thought it was really like it topped all the Sportsmaster Tigress stuff from last week. I thought it was really good. I think it's almost, I mean, it's not there yet, but it's like almost on the level of some of the fight scenes that we saw in Preacher.
I had not those two things exist in such different arenas of my mind, but okay, yeah, I could see that.
I'm just talking about like cinematic quality.
Yeah, an inventive use of movements and grappling and things like that. Yeah, no, it was really good. And again, I don't mean to be ageist, I guess, but I'm more comfortable with Courtney fighting another teenager. When Courtney's fighting adults, it just feels like, she's 15. What are you doing? So
yeah.
Okay, so there is no way that Cindy, who is a teenage girl, popular, fashion savvy, cliquish, all that, would not look at Stargirl and say, "Oh, her hair. Oh, that's Courtney Whitmore. That hair is incredibly distinctive. Nobody else on Earth has that hair. That's Courtney. That's Courtney Whitmore." There's no way that Cindy doesn't immediately say, "Hey, Courtney, that's weird." So,
or the fact that Cindy's not wearing a mask. Do you think Courtney knew that was Cindy?
Cindy doesn't care. Cindy's just like, "Yeah, no, it's me."
Well, there's the light and that scar. It might not be Cindy. It's Shiv.
Who is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then really quickly, the scenes with Iceman's son.
Oh, Icicles. Yeah. Yes.
Icicles. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's like a whole. I feel like the stuff with Icicle, with Icicle and Cameron is his son's character's name. They're so like short and fleeting. They tend not to make the recaps, but I feel like they're really important. And we had him, the scene of him asking Courtney out, which, talk about the circumstances where like Pat walks off because he's upset Courtney keeps eyeing the principal, and then Mike gives her the business, and then they walk out and she's alone on that bench when Cameron walks up to her. Yeah, just talk. Yeah, so just talk about that moment and kind of the way that was handled.
It was good. I mean, that's
okay. I'm sorry.
I don't have
I'm
much
sorry.
else to say. No, I don't have much else to say beyond that. Just that I don't remember them interacting all that much before. So him asking her at homecoming was a little out of left field, but I like the tension that they're setting up with, son of Nemesis. I'm always very into that dynamic. So, and I mean, Courtney was so excited. I was happy for her, but I did howl at her not to break that date with Cindy. Sisters before misters. You're trying to make nice, and don't break that date when she's yelling at the cheerleaders in front of the school. That was just bad timing.
Really? Because I thought Cindy was the horrible person. Like, hey,
Oh no, Cindy's the worst. Of course she is. But Courtney had to know, like, this difficult girl I'm trying to befriend. If I blow her off for a date, it's not going to go well. Now that probably says it's going to be a bad friendship, but I think she had to know the choice she was making was going to kind of close the door on that forever. So
yeah. And I'm sorry I jumped on it. I it feels like more you wanted to talk about Cameron and his dad.
Oh no, the asking out at the dance and the all of it was good. Was good.
Okay.
I do agree. That feels like important character things, but it's such a small part of every episode that it is kind of hard. It moves kind of slowly, but I'm interested in it. Also, Henry Jr. Here's the Buffy joke I promised. Yeah, I like that episode better when it was called Earshot and it was Buffy Summers. Yeah, so Buffy people out there, heyo. But yeah, I like the burgeoning psychic ability and the frustration, and I think Henry Jr. is going to be really interesting in upcoming episodes too.
Yeah, and I mean, if you know the comics, you kind of know the direction that character's heading in.
I don't, so I'm excited. Is it going to be good? Am I going to like it?
Yeah, I think you will.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're gonna get that in a few episodes, I think. It's weird. It's weird because the way they've laid out the titles are just characters of the episode, so it's like, oh, okay, I kind of get the sense of what's gonna happen in each step, but I'm interested to see the way that they execute it. So, all right, anything more to talk about with Stargirl?
I think I had a lot of things I wanted to cover, and I think that was all of them.
Oh, good. All right, time to move on to our second and final episode for this week, which was Doom Patrol, Season 2, Episode 4, Sex Patrol. Maura Lee Corrupt and all of the denizens came to the mansion to throw a party for Danny, and Dorothy defied the chief by staying up past her bedtime. Jane and Vic both returned to the mansion bummed out over what happened to each of them last episode. Rita pulled Flex Mentallo aside and got him to flex her an orgasm so powerful it summoned a world-ending sex demon. Last minute reveal, after Dorothy said she did not want to grow up, the Candlemaker told her not to speak to him anymore.
Nose to the dot, Ed. Okay, this is the week that Doom Patrol came back for me. The first 3 episodes were good. This was what I've been missing. I don't even try to explain any part of this episode to anybody who hasn't seen it and see what they say. And yet, it was great. And it meant so much in the world of the show. I loved it. It's back. Yay.
Yeah. And I feel like so much of this show, of this episode and the concept of Danny the Street to begin with, it's there's so much like joy and hope and imagination that comes out of that concept that I don't know why it makes me so happy to watch all of these people come together for that party that like almost brings me to tears. Not quite, but like so joyful.
Oh yeah, the Danny community, the acceptance and the love and the support that Danny has for the people and the people have for Danny. It's really lovely. The amount of times I've watched People Like Us, the Larry karaoke scene from last season is not inconsequential, because it's like you say, it's so joyful, but you know, the knowledge that this is where we can be who we are and we can't elsewhere as easily. It's kind of bittersweet. And yeah, no, I agree. I was so glad to see Danny again. And all the people.
Yeah, and I thought that that brief moment with Vic and Mora at the bar, I thought that was really cool. Larry had kind of a bittersweet moment where he gets someone to dance with him, and then kind of ruins it by mentioning the fact that if he's completely radioactive.
I will melt everybody. I am telling you, everybody here will die.
Yeah, we got to see Jane. She started, or people started going back up to the underground. I feel like that story could have even been, it was weird how like that kind of the storylines merged, and it feels like Jane and all of her personalities came to an understanding while uh punching the sex demon's baby back into its vagina.
Yeah. As you do.
Yes, as one does. You've got to get rid of that baby before it cries. We
Oh man.
but yeah. Jane, we got to meet Scarlet Harlot, which I feel like that's a new personality. Um, I thought was fun and fit right in with the Danny crowd. And
Yes.
yeah. So I think we've gone around this. Flex Mentallo is an amazing character. And just
He is
the fact
best.
the fact that he exists in a live action form is some kind of miracle. But that whole storyline with him and Rita is so absurd. Oh, Sarah, I feel please say something. Say something.
No, I want you to keep talking about Flex. With great muscles comes great responsibilities. So Flex does that. I do love I like a lovable lunkhead like that. I really enjoy that kind of a character, and he's so. I wish he would flex me some twinkle lights to my house like that. Just him getting ready for the party was great. He flexed up some cupcakes. I don't think I've ever loved a character more. Honestly. But he's just, he's careful with his powers. He's just like, oh, this could be kind of, are you sure? And I really like Flex. And just any actor who is so unselfconsciously inhabits a pair of leopard print briefs, I think just deserves a lot of credit.
Mm.
A lot of credit.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, he's good. Him and Rita together because he is so. They're both physical, right? But in such incredibly different ways. He's just this like warm lunk, and she's this brittle yet I don't know. The contrast between the two, I enjoyed greatly. This show now knows how to throw characters together in ways that make them that elevate both by the contrast of each one.
Yes, and as a result of their misadventures, we get to meet the Sex Men.
Wow. Did
Lieutenant Kiss, Torture, and Cuddles.
And I do love Jane's therapist persona being like, I have so many questions.
And that is a very Grant Morrison concept. I almost feel like that's from another book that he wrote, a Vertigo book called The Filth, which is all about this extra-dimensional police, this extra-dimensional secret agency that polices all of the profanity and obscenity in the world.
Well,
but
and you mentioned Preacher in the Stargirl roundup, but there were sex detectives in Preacher, weren't they? The comic, at least, right?
Yeah, and
So,
and there was one episode where the sex detectives would show up.
Okay, good. I was forgetting what I had seen versus what I had read, but yeah, this version is extra wild. It felt like they just took like a Ghostbusters Halloween costume that you could get at Party Central and then put glow lights in it, and it
Yeah.
worked. I mean, it really fit. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, yeah. And we got sex ghosts and a sex demon from Kathmandu. Yeah. Just everything you could want from this show. Everything.
Everything you could want. Yes. Can we just talk about the humping ghosts for a second? Can
Mhm.
you imagine the cast, like the director being like, okay, so you're all going to become sort of phantoms, but we need you to hump in different ways for comedy. This show, bless up.
Yeah. And yeah, all kinds of things that you'll learn on this show that you know, like the chief can give Cliff ecstasy just as an offer. You want some yeah, you're having a rough time. You want some ecstasy so you could enjoy the party? It's like, how have you not mentioned this before?
And I
You
do
know.
love the very earnest Cliff, you should go. You're the only one who can't orgasm. Like it's
Yes. Um yeah. And let's turn let's talk about um the chief and Dorothy for a while. So Dorothy has all of her friends, especially we find out that the name of the voice, the scary voice that keeps talking to her is the candle maker, who wants her to make this wish. And Danny is basically tells Niles thanks but no thanks. He's slowly he's taking on a new form that's not a street. My guess is that
Mhm.
tire is going to become a bus, and it's going to become
Yeah, it does strike me that a traveling party in an RV or something seems like something Danny would that
yeah.
they'd really want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. But basically, like you can't hide Dorothy inside me anymore. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, things are starting to get real. And I'm getting really
Well,
scared of what's gonna happen with Dorothy.
and Dorothy, I'm glad that we're addressing the age issue sooner rather than later. This, I'm a little girl, but I'm not. I'd like to
Mhm,
grow up, or maybe I don't. But the testing the boundaries of can I wear makeup? Can I stay up late? I want to be at this party. I don't want to be locked away. I'm glad. I'm glad that they didn't wait on that, and that's
mhm.
presumably going to be part of the story moving forward. So yeah, I'm glad that they brought that out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and it's an interesting take, for all of this absurd, bonkers stuff that's going on. That the crux of this show is going to end up being that you have to allow your kids to grow up and
Hmm.
come to terms with who they are. Um, and I can see that theme coming from a mile away, creeping its way into the show.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
Yes.
Hmm.
I'm just looking through my notes. I'm glad that they let Abigail Shapiro, who plays Dorothy, sing. They found her in the theater. They found her on Broadway, and so
Mm.
I assume that's part of the reason why they were looking for actresses there. So
Oh
that was
yeah,
that was nice.
yeah, and for her to sing "Pure Imagination" from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
it worked for Danny.
yeah. Again, she sang the whole song, which always shocks me when that happens in a TV show because I feel like they're always pressed for time. But she sang that whole song, and it was very ethereal and magical. Um, and yeah. Great performance. Great stuff from her.
That
Um,
actress is 20, by the way. She was born in the year 2000. She seems
really.
much younger. Yeah,
Mm,
according to IMDb.
mm, yeah.
Other things I want to call out really quickly: Rita and Larry dancing. and Larry doing the Uma Thurman Pulp Fiction dance was amazing. You mentioned the conversation Morally Corrupt had with Vic, but that idea of life is short and go where you have felt love was great. And then the, the sex cops, one yelling at the other, and I don't remember which is which. Think of potatoes. I don't know why, but that sent me. So this whole thing was great.
Yeah. Torture says that to Lieutenant Kiss as he's trying to confront the demon.
Potatoes.
It's very much like Austin Powers when what is it? Baseball. Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. Yes.
Oh, hey, that reminds me. I forgot to pimp this up top. I'm on Moving the Needle this week, talking about Austin Powers versus So I Married an Axe Murderer, Mike Myers versus Mike Myers. So if you enjoyed that Austin Powers reference, Moving the Needle this week, check it out. Okay, I'm sorry.
Good. All right. So yeah. So I think that's it for the episode. Was there any news on Doom Patrol?
Nope.
All right, on to news for the shows.
Okay. So we have an Arrowverse CW update, and that is that Warner Brothers Television has put out kind of a PSA of its heroes wearing masks to try to encourage mask usage among the public. So you've got The Flash, you've got Green Arrow, you've got Supergirl, you've got Black Lightning, all masked up in these kind of promo shots, which I thought was cool.
Wow. And there's a long tradition of superheroes putting out PSAs like that. There's a short film from the 50s starring George Reeves where it's Superman promoting Stamp Day in America. So I feel like this
postage stamps?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Were we not buying enough postage stamps at the time?
Well, hey, everyone needs encouragements, but it's just a stamp day, a day to celebrate the wonder of postage stamps and the postal service. Yeah.
Well, we need more of that, I guess. Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Also, there's also a long history of public health type messages being baked into our pop culture as a way of normalizing it. The idea of a designated driver. You had your PSA commercials, but when you start putting it into, I think it was Beverly Hills 90210, the original version, who's your designated driver tonight, Dylan? That models that behavior and makes it socially acceptable to do that and socially unacceptable to not do that. I saw Glee try to do this with texting and driving in the aughts when a character was in an accident because she was texting. And so trying again to sort of use pop culture to vilify and lift up certain behaviors or not behaviors. So this is really interesting. Of course, the irony is you can't film anything with these characters using masks because, the pandemic. But anyway, I thought that was really interesting. So check those out. I saw this on bleedingcool.com talking about the masked heroes going masked.
All right. What's up next?
Next bit of news is for Black Lightning. Hey, it's finally getting a Funko Pop.
How has that not happened already?
I know. It's going to be an SDCC exclusive. So I don't know how that's going to. I don't know how that's going to work since there's not actually an in-person San Diego Comic-Con. But it is Black Lightning. He's got little blue lightning coming out of his hands. It's super cute. So keep an eye out for that. Those of you who are Funko collectors.
Yeah,
are you a Funko guy? Do you?
No, my brother Jimmy is. He's into the Funkos. I have a handful. I wouldn't consider myself a collector, but the idea that Black Lightning hasn't had a Funko Pop, I think this is a travesty. And I need to be able to go to a comic shop and see the 4 character sets. It's got to be Black Lightning, Thunder, Lightning, and Tobias, I guess, would be like those would be the 4. Mm-hmm.
I would love to see Lady Eve jewelry in a Funko, but
yeah. Or Maybe her holding that embalming equipment. That was. Oh, you remember that episode? Oh, that was freaky.
Super into it. I'm not a Funko. I have two. It seems like the kind of thing that could get out of control really quickly. So I've limited myself
Oh
to
yes,
Wonder Woman and
yes.
She-Hulk, and that's as far as I go.
There you go.
Next bit of news is for the Canaries
Da
spinoff,
la
Green Arrow and
la.
the Canaries.
Canaries music.
Ed, are you ready?
All right, I'm ready. I'm braced.
Okay, on June 26th, Mark
Mhm.
Guggenheim tweeted that we should have news about the state of the show very, very soon.
So the news is
Mhm.
that we don't have news yet, but
Mhm,
it might
mhm,
be
mhm.
coming soon.
Very, very soon. Yes.
And the fact that it's been more than a week and we haven't gotten that news yet says to me it's probably bad news. But
I mean, it's
um,
been bad news for months when they didn't pick it up when they picked up Superman and Lois.
mhm.
I mean, it's so cute that everybody is still talking about it. If this show actually is ordered, I will fall out of my chair in shock. How about you?
yeah. I kind of that mind too. But we'll see. Well, there's still time yet. There's still time.
Stranger Things. It's 2020 is a
Mhm.
weird year, man. It could happen.
Yep. Yep.
And then last bit of news for the week is about Sweet Tooth,
Sweet Tooth,
which will be airing
music.
on Netflix at some undetermined future time. But Sweet Tooth is one of the handful of productions that has been given a border exemption to enter New Zealand for filming in the upcoming months. So New Zealand is not letting just anybody in. But Sweet Tooth joins Lord of the Rings and Cowboy Bebop and a couple other shows to be allowed to film after, the appropriate quarantine and screening and this and that at some point soon, presumably.
Cool. I need to see on-set photos for that. It's gonna be so weird. This show's gonna be so weird. I can't wait. All right.
Well, I'm excited. I love a New Zealand shot show. I think there's a very distinctive look to shows that are filmed there. New Zealand is so pretty. So I that tells me a little bit maybe about the show. It seems like New Zealand lends itself to sort of outdoors nature, forest trees, epic scenery. Maybe I'm just stereotyping New Zealand. Sorry if that is the case, New Zealanders who are listening. But yeah, I'm excited to hear that it's filming there and that it's maybe going to be getting underway. And I assume New Zealand has things under control there better than we do. So, yay, New Zealand.
All right. All right. So I think so yeah, that's it for the news, right?
Yeah, that is it.
All right, on to our winners for the week. All right. Sarah, you want to go first or should I go first?
Yeah, I can go first. I feel like it's going to be a fight to not make Rita my winner every week because I love her so much. But this week, and I mentioned this when we talked about it, mine is Flex Mentallo because he flexed up a tray of damn cupcakes. And I feel like that is a superhero power worth celebrating. He's good-natured, he's upbeat, he'll take care of you in a variety of ways. Flex is my winner of the week.
Yeah. And my winner for the week is a theme through both episodes. I think what was important to that is daddy-daughter drama. And you had the daddy-daughter drama going between Cindy and the Dragon King, who can't even take his mask off in front of his daughter. And forces her to get so angry that she turns into a supervillain and demolishes her high school gym while beating the crap out of Courtney. And
cool.
yeah, no, not cool. And in Doom Patrol, it's the tension between Niles and Dorothy. That he wants to protect her. He needs her to, he wants her to go to bed and keep her safe until she dies. And until he finds a way to become immortal. And she's been cooped up for 100 years and wants to experience the world.
Yeah, that is a good choice indeed.
Yeah. All right, Sarah, we did an episode.
We did an episode.
Yeah, so it's exciting, and both of these shows I think have been really really strong, and I'm glad that we still have. We're about halfway through. Actually, this was the exact middle point of Stargirl, and you know, um, we're still gonna get a good 5 or 6 weeks with these characters. Um, yeah, yeah.
That's cool. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so that's the DC TV report for this week. You can find us on Twitter. I'm at Little Eddie O'Hare, TBD. Oh no,
And
just
I'm at
Little Eddie O'Hare. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. And I'm Sarah Netzley, SaraNetzley.
And follow the show on Twitter at DCTV Report. Send along your emails to dctv@wickedtheory.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our show on your podcast app of choice and rate and review us. That helps more people find us. Check out our sister show, the Wicked Theory Podcast. This has been a Wicked Theory Studios production. Executive producer, Bill Sweeney. Visit us at wickedtheory.com. Shazam, everybody.
Shazam!
Shazam!